Hi, chat. Oh, welcome to the Ichiko Aoba concert reflection. Woo! Let's go. I am out in the middle of the open field at my old cottage that I lived in for a year. I'm looking not supposed to be here because they closed all of these places up for like summer renewal, but I lived here for a year, so it's all right. You're probably like, Sab, you said that the videos would be so freaking beautiful, and this is chuddy. I think it's a little pretty, but yeah, I was planning to film in front of this like open, beautiful field that we have, but they just chopped all of the grass down for hay bales, and so now it looks gross. I also got tickets to Hayley Williams today because she's coming into town in September, and right after that is gonna be Shaky Knees. So just know you're gonna be well fed. Okay, you're getting well fed. I got to see Ichiko Aoba last Monday, a Monday that was recent, because she came to Atlanta Symphony Hall, and I felt really fortunate to get those tickets because I had been thinking about going to that concert for months, and I just kind of forgot about it. I'd kind of forgotten about it, and then if you watch my last video, you'd know that I had life events that reminded me of the concert, because God plants those seeds in your mind. And I was like, oh my gosh, let me check if she's still coming to town. And she was. The next day, she was. So I was like, okay, so I low-key gotta go. I low-key gotta go. And I did, and now I'm gonna tell you about it. If you don't know who Ichiko Aoba is, this is my own summary. I don't really read up on like artists super close and stuff. I go to concerts of music that I love. Don't mind the corporate food, by the way. I had like a line of events in the past hour that all just kind of pissed me off and made me jaded. And D Hall was closed during open hours. How dare they? So I had to get this. Anyway, Ichiko Aoba is like a folk artist from Japan. All of her music is in Japanese. Her music is very serene and very kind of whimsical and bubbly, I would say. She has this incredible like siren sound to her voice, and all of her instrumentals are very, for lack of a better word, organic. So she might use a lot of bells and like a light synth, and pianos and very dainty guitars and stuff. Just a very kind of daintier sound. Her music is very gentle, and I love it so much. I was scared to go to Atlanta Symphony Hall because I had never been there before. I've been to almost every other concert venue in Atlanta, but not the Symphony, so I was just kind of like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to wear or whatever. So I put on a sweater and some jeans and a good pair of hiking boots. And I think I was really fortunate. I think that it was in God's plan for me that day to be at that concert, because I've never had as smooth of an experience going to a concert as I did with this one. I do also want to clarify that I did go alone. I go to concerts alone quite often, which I know sounds like a scary thing to do in any city, really, but I kind of gotten used to it. I know the parameters and how to kind of prepare for it and feel safe as well as be safe. And typically, like I've never had an issue going to concerts alone. So I posted up, waited on the performance, and oh my gosh, it was freaking phenomenal. Like it was so awesome. I genuinely just believe that Ichiko Aoba's voice is just blessed by God to this severe parameter. Like it is she's incredible. Her voice sounds just as perfect as it does in her official released music, if not better, when it's live. It was her opener. His name is Charlie Martin. He was this like folk country artist from Texas, which was kind of surprising. Like it's an interesting juxtaposition there, but he was awesome. His songs were so sweet and nice and very interactive. Something very beautiful about the sound of the Symphony Hall, because when he would have us all singing together, it just like was so crisp and so clear, and I've never heard it that way. It was awesome. And she joined him for a few songs and just added this beautiful, effeminate voice and flavor to the music that was just so perfect. And then it was her set, and it's kind of like, it reminded me of Faye Webster, because for like the entire thing, and not that this is the same for Faye Webster, but I guess I've only been to a concert that was kind of similar in that way. It was just her and her instruments in this like small little setup on the whole stage, like the whole time. It was very minimal stage design as well, so outside of like the couple of instruments and like visual decor that she had on stage with her, there were like light fixtures that had designs on them and like span and changed color, and that was it. And it was really laid back, and it was awesome. Most of the songs were just her and her guitar, and she played all of her most famous music, like literally all of it, but as well as like newer music, a lot of like, I don't know the name of the album because it's very unfortunate. I guess I'm a fake fan, but the album that Dawn and the Aiden is from, she played Space Orphans. I'm pretty sure she opened with Space Orphans, which was awesome. And it was just so cool because I don't think there's any concert hall that could have done her justice the way that the symphony did, because you could hear everything so perfectly and crisply, and the resonance just carried in this wonderful way that like aisle 5 or whatever, or the Eastern just can't do. It can't do that. I scooched you a little bit closer because there was a big gust a minute ago, but yeah, there was a moment on stage where during one of the songs her mic was acting up a little bit and pitching up and making those nasty sounds, but for some reason the way that she worked with the music to kind of, you know, give it a bit of silence for the mic to calm down, the chords just meshed with it so perfectly that it almost kind of added to it. And I was just kind of sitting there and I was like, literally only Ichiko Aoba could do that, bro. She closed with this song that I don't know the name of, that kind of had this Latin ring to it. It had these melodies and this kind of guitar picking that was so, like, it sounded like bossa nova a little bit. And it was a really long song, but it was really good, and she did it all on her own, and you just kind of watched her hands move in this lightning speed while also singing. That was just such a perfect closer, because there's nothing more that could deserve like a standing ovation. It was incredible, and I feel so, it's unfortunate that I cannot describe to you how great the music was and how good she did and how awesome of an experience it was, because I just can't put it into words. Like, it's easy for me to go to like a bigger concert like Megan Thee Stallion or whatever, and to talk about all the cool visuals and all of the popular music that she played, and she did a great job rapping and everything. But it's really hard to describe a concert that was just as much of an kind of a spiritual experience as an emotional one and a physical one. And that's the best way that I can describe Ichiko Aoba. I think that this is the first time that I've been to a concert where people aren't there for the artist, they're there for the music. And to define that a little bit better is like, when you hear that Olivia Rodrigo is going on tour, you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to see Olivia Rodrigo. I loved her album. She's so cool. I want to go for the vibes. Or I want to go to Faye Webster because of her vibes, or whatever, something like that. With Ichiko Aoba, her presence on social media is kind of, it's not the same vein. Ichiko Aoba's presence on social media is not anything like the artists that I have seen and follow before that. People kind of have that parasocial relationship with artists that create a stronger connection and create a greater desire to go see their music, which I don't think is an inherently bad thing at all. But with Ichiko Aoba, it's just not the same thing, especially in America. I think particularly when artists like from Japan or from Mexico or Argentina, something like that, when they come here and they don't have that similar kind of like parasocial presence with audiences here, a lot of the people who are going to their concerts are going to their concerts because they love the music. They don't love this kind of personality that they've created in their minds for this artist, or this expectation of their performance or how they're going to speak on stage. And I felt that so strongly with Ichiko Aoba's audience because I've never been to a concert that was that respectful. And I think that being in the Symphony Hall was definitely a part of that. And I think that it really, like, that venue really tied it together. Venues are so important when you're going to concerts, but I think there was definitely an air of respect that everyone kind of carried in there, but not just towards the artist, not just towards the hall, but also towards each other. And it adds to that experience so much because it's just like these people are sitting here and they're listening to the music and they're not thinking about whether or not, oh my gosh, she looked at me, or I don't know, something in that vein. They're not thinking about that, and you can feel that in the presence of the room, and it's a very beautiful thing. And with that final standing ovation when she finished her last song, it just, like, you could just tell that those people were standing because they heard that song and they were like, this is awesome, and I'm happy that I'm here. And I felt that way, and it was so cool. It was great. There also was just so much respect for the opener, which I love, which can sometimes be a little lacking in city shows, especially in recent years. It makes me really sad. I remember going to concerts when I was a bit younger. It was a lot better. People were kinder, but it's just become the norm to be hateful towards music that maybe you just don't like. It's okay to not like music. That doesn't mean you have to be hateful towards it. But everyone was so supportive of that opener, and even again, being in the Symphony Hall, it's kind of, it creates a sort of, like, there's almost a little bit of stiffness. It's like, okay, how casually can I act? But people were so kind and just expressive and open towards, like, supporting him and making little shout outs like, this is awesome, to him. And it was just so great. It was genuinely one of my favorite concerts I've ever been to. Leaving that concert, I just felt so serene and grounded. There were points where I was kind of like closing my eyes and I was like, it's like she's singing me to sleep right now. It was a nice feeling. I felt bad at first. I was like, am I really about to fall asleep in this concert? But then I kind of embraced it and I felt really good. I didn't fall asleep, but I just kind of closed my eyes sometimes and listened to her voice, and it was incredible. It really was a spiritual experience. I left that concert and I felt just incredible and grounded and very joyful, and in a weird way connected with God. Live music is a beautiful thing, and I think that people should invest more in it when they have that resource and that interest. I also want to say, like, a lot of the concerts I go to, I'm not like a super fan or anything. I just like to go to affordable concerts with artists that I've heard some of their songs and I'm like, I want to know more of your music. I want to hear more of your music and what you've got. And those concerts are my favorites. Those concerts are the best when I get to have a first impression of some whatever famous song they have, but in their own special way on that stage. Music is almost always better live, in my opinion. Even if maybe their voices don't, sound as sharp or whatever. When they kind of like go crazy on the guitar, or they add a little extra synth on the piano, or a little like solo on the trombone, it just makes that music so much better. And then you listen to that song on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, and you're like, this does not compare to what I heard for the first time in that venue. And I feel very blessed to get to go to artists like Ichiko Aoba, where I love a lot of her music, but I haven't heard all of it. And I got to hear all of it, not all of it. I got to hear some of it for the first time in that room, and I feel very blessed to have had that opportunity. I don't think that going solo or going to an artist where you're not like a super fan should stop you from going to a concert that you feel bold to go to. Um, and yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say. I will say like Ichiko Aoba is amazing, and she is bang for your buck for sure. And if you have the opportunity to see her, definitely do it. I'm definitely going to go see her next time she's in town, hopefully sometime soon. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys later. Bye.